Good morning, I'm Sam Thurgood and welcome to my 5-minute Parsha. In the Sidra of Truma, we begin what really is a theme that goes over the next several Parshiot, which is the building of the Mishkan, or the tabernacle, a home for Hashem amongst the Jewish people. And one of the major themes that many of the commentaries bring out is the theme of oneness, is the theme of unity. One of the places where it's expressed, for example, is the menorah. That the menorah, which is really a fairly complex piece of artisanship, it is a 7-branched candelabra, and each of those branches are heavily decorated and they have different components, and it's got a base, and it's quite a story. And yet it all has to be made out of one piece of gold. It cannot be made as separate pieces and then kind of welded or soldered together or even melted together afterwards. It all has to come from that one block. And the Chofetz Chaim in his book Shem Olam says, because each of the different parts of the menorah represent different kinds of people, different kinds of mitzvot, different kinds of behavior, and it's, again, they're all part of, there's this message, they're all part of the same thing. They are not segmented, not compartmentalized, but part of the Beit HaMikdash, part of the temple, part of the service of Hashem, and there are many, many other such lessons. For example, the fact that by very definition, the Mishkan, the temple, is just one. There was a time in Jewish history where we were permitted private altars, where we could offer up offerings to Hashem in our backyards. Once the temple was built in Jerusalem, that time ended forever. All korbanot are only to be brought in Jerusalem. There's the one central place. There's only one Kohen Gadol. We don't have the concept of, rotating shift of Kohen Gadol. There's one city, Jerusalem, one place, the Temple Mount, one building, the temple, one Kohen Gadol, and so on. That feeling of oneness, and Rabbi Steinsaltz actually points out in his wonderful book, Biblical Images, is that he says when we speak about monotheism, it's not so much a revolution that people thought there were so many gods and we're saying, no, actually there's one God. But really it's a return to that basic intuitive knowledge that we all begin with, that we live in a world of oneness, that we live in a world of somehow pervasive unity that runs through everything. I think, however, that the process can be like this. We begin thinking, certainly as a baby sees the world like this, as just absolute oneness. But we begin even on a fairly primitive philosophical level as just seeing everything as one. But then as we become more sophisticated, we realize the number of diverse phenomena that exist in the world, how different things are, and we do categorize and segment them. So stage 1 is just seeing it's just one. Stage 2 is seeing it's so many different things fragmented. But stage 3 is the ability to see, but somehow all of those different things are really part of one again. The menorah is not just a single block of gold that they just put on display in the temple. It is a very sophisticated, developed, drawn out, decorated, segmented, it's a specialized item. There's the cups and the knobs and the bowls, but it really is just one piece of, it's really just one piece of gold. It's one piece of pure gold that is developed and expressed in this complex way. And that's really what the world is as well. The world is a manifestation of the one God. It's a manifestation of one God and all of these various and advanced phenomena. And the primitive person can just say, well, there's just God, and there's no gravity, and there's no friction, and there's no wind currents. The more sophisticated person will say, well, it's all just the factors of physics and biology. But the most sophisticated person will be able to see that somehow there is an underlying unity that pervades all of this. The Maharal of Prague says that's really significant in terms of numerology. He says the number 1 is just one, that's just the oneness. A clear, simple, uncomplicated oneness. The number 9, he says, represents diversity. 9 is going off in every possible direction. That's 9 is this unfettered diversity. But the number 10, he says, is the diversity represented by a circle, held by that midpoint, held in the center. It's a diversity that really is an expression of an inner unity. With how many statements does Hashem create the world? With 10 statements. If Hashem created the world with one statement, it would just be a completely uncomplicated, godly world with no diversity, with no uniqueness. If it was with 9 statements, it would be a world so diverse that you would never see that common thread of unity. But it was created with 10 statements. Hashem is present throughout the world. Our task is to understand, on the basis of Hashem being the foundation, the greatness and diverseness of the phenomena, to bring it back to Hashem. Shabbat Shalom.